Now, so when we were looking at a moment ago, bans and whether sites need to be rendered because they're JavaScript heavy, we were looking in this gray area. But now we're going to be looking at the blue. Typically the domain of creating and maintaining spiders in order to crawl and to extract. And so the challenge here, so I gave the example earlier on that we've spoken to businesses who've said we currently have 200 spiders. We need to, in order to achieve our commercial goals, we need to add another 200 in the next quarter. And that's very, very challenging. And how can that be done? Well, some of the expertise I described earlier can help in terms of good practices around spiders, around the coding standards and approaches that can improve maintenance. But there is a fundamental challenge here of websites changing layout and driving a need for maintenance. And there are software solutions to that. But there are two challenges. So if we looked at types of site or the ways in which people scrape from sites, there's perhaps two types of relationships with those sites. So on the left-hand side here, sites that are being addressed on a high volume basis. And so this is very common where we see businesses gathering data from typically the major e-commerce sites. And they may be taking hundreds or millions of requests per month from these sites, sometimes even billions. And so any solution here has to be extremely fast because that could be a very long crawl, but also it must be very cheap per request. That's a critical success factor. But on the right-hand side, to take an example, I spoke to a business not so long ago who said, we want to be able to scrape the job sites from every corporate website in Germany. That's an enormous scale. And that's a fundamentally economic challenge of how could a spider be created for each of that enormous number of sites, all with different layouts, where the volume of pages from each site is modest. And therefore, it's exceptionally difficult to pay back the investment of creating those spiders for all those sites. Two very, very different challenges. And as a result, they require different solutions.